It's always really weird when it starts.
Hi.
Hello.
Real story. True story. Interesting story. We'll tell you about it later. Topic. Tip. Maybe you should consider getting travel insurance.
Why? Why? Like, to hear
Be-
him say those words, y'all don't even understand how far
okay,
we've
so I'm
come. He
anti-insurance
is.
all the way around. Think it's a ripoff. But there are occasions where insurance is prudent. For instance, you've been saving up for this fantastic trip of a lifetime. And then
Well, can they see?
that,
There we go.
that happens.
That happens.
You know what that is? It's a moon boot and a sexy, sexy leg.
It's so weird. We're losing people now, Carlton. Stop. Please.
It's too sexy.
It's too much. Inside joke, anyways.
So, now, no, we didn't have a trip planned,
No,
but
we had life planned, but not for this.
this was as unexpected as something unexpected could be. So we got to thinking, oh, that's a good travel tip. Not only tip, but travel truth.
It's the truth.
Just because you want to have a great trip doesn't mean you will. And just because you hope that nothing bad will ever happen doesn't mean bad things happen to good people.
It does.
And it could ruin a trip if you're not prepared. So, were we getting ready for a trip, say next week, and we didn't have travel insurance, we'd be in a really bad shape because I don't go back in to see an orthopedic specialist for another 2 weeks. Meaning, I don't even know if I'm going to have surgery. Meaning, the trip would have been, the money would have been wasted. That or the amount of time and effort to try to rebook everything and then the time of year, depending,
Disaster.
it could be a disaster. So, please enlighten the folks. Why, other than something like this happening, would travel insurance be a good idea?
You might got your pink slip notice that you don't have a job no more.
Ooh.
Or you get some really devastating news that maybe the place you're trying to go to is having a natural disaster, civil
True.
unrest. Not necessarily because you were going to a bad country, but people get tired and they're fed up and they feel like justice isn't being served and things are going on strike.
True that.
Or the worst, most painful thing you can ever experience is a loss of a loved one. So you have things that really do come up after you've already paid for this trip. So how do you deal with life, but also recognize you have money that's already been spent? And how do you recoup it? So travel insurance. So that's where you want to probably do a little bit of research before you even buy your tickets, what your options are. Depending if you go through a Travelocity or Expedia, when you're about to check out, they'll offer you insurance. So I would say look at those options, those companies first, compare it. Maybe you have AAA like we do. AAA has their own, not AAA insurance, but they're affiliated with a travel insurance company that their members can buy their insurance on, even if they did not book their trip through AAA.
So if you did it through Expedia or Priceline or whatever, once you have all of your info, you could still go to AAA and say, hey.
I want insurance. And we did that for Portugal.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
And we almost needed it.
We almost needed it.
We were right on the edge of having to come
Yeah.
back in the middle of the trip. And we never did it. We didn't use it, but it was a relief knowing that it was there if we needed it.
And then it would be something that we might be able to kind of recoup the trip and come back at a later date.
Right.
So just real quick, that website, I think Carlton might be able to put the link in the show notes. I don't know.
If it's not across the screen, it'll be in the description.
Okay. I don't even know how to say it correctly. How do you say
Alliance
it?
Travel Insurance.
AllianceTravelInsurance.com.
Yeah.
It's a lot of letters, but that's who we've been using. And not just them, but when you do your research on your travel insurance, see what their different packages are. because the more basic you go, the less coverage you have. I am a paranoid person to begin with. We talked about that, me and my fear of Brazil. So we go for the top package. But if you're gonna spend,
and it still isn't.
that's not that bad.
It's not nearly as much as you
No,
think.
maybe
It's
like
2-3% usually of what your total trip
it's
is.
if you're gonna spend, let's say, $2,000 on 2 tickets plus your hotels or whatever, you might as well spend $150 or $200. It depends. I don't know.
Well,
what
yeah, it
you're-
depends on the package you get.
to make sure everything is good. Because if you lose luggage, your flight is delayed, you need to be reimbursed for hotels, that kind of stuff. Again, check your travel insurance, what you're going to buy for. It will help you with those things.
And sometimes your own insurance company
It
may
might have
offer
something.
travel insurance too.
And insurance isn't when you're on the trip, but as you could see, something can happen to your physicalness and you may not be able to travel when you're supposed to. So you guys, please, if you thought it wasn't necessary, it's one of those things that can give you peace of mind. I think it's necessary. I would really encourage you guys to consider it into your budget while you're planning your trip.
Especially if you're planning on going on a trip and doing some hang gliding or zip lining or
No, that's
something
no.
like that.
But it's not just international trips, but for domestic trips as well. You
Yeah.
don't want to take that for granted.
Yeah. You may have a preferred medical person that you want to see where you live, and the travel insurance can get you shuttled down here pretty quick so you
Yeah.
can see your doctor, someone that you trust.
Yeah.
Or like she mentioned, if something happened to a family member or loved one,
You can get
be it before the trip and you can't go now, or while you're on the trip, you get the
Yeah.
news and you need to come back, you can do that and then pick up and resume your trip later on.
So I think that was it. I actually had to write down stuff, trying to get better.
You did good.
I think I did good. Thank you. We're doing it. So apologies, you guys. In addition to this, there's been some really crazy other things happening. So I'm a little slow on returning messages, but I appreciate your time.
So please keep commenting.
Yeah, please do
And-
and be
and-
patient
and
with me. I'm so
please.
sorry.
Hey, share with your friends and peeps. I mean, we're getting better, I think, at this video stuff. And we will be as we're building the site and all that other
Yeah.
stuff. It's going to get better. So please pass the word on to your peeps. Tag somebody in Instagram or email it to them in YouTube. I was going to say Yoo-hoo.
The meds this man is on.
Yeah, but I was like this before.
He really was.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Okay.
well, thank you guys for your time.
And really, travel insurance. I'm as cheap as they come. But I'm now a believer
He's a believer
in at least travel insurance.
for now.
We'll talk about their other insurance later
Yeah.
because it's all a ripoff. Bye.
Bye, guys.